Assalamu alaikum, dears, how are you? Employment is the need of everybody. Everybody wants to have a good job. Sometimes we get an information that a good job is available somewhere in any of the companies. We contact them. We go there for the purpose of interview, carrying our resume. But during the interview, we make certain mistakes, blunders, due to which that particular job position runs away from us. We get totally knocked out, failed during the interview, known as a very poor, very unskilled. We fail to qualify. Later on, we keep remembering, we keep repenting. I did that mistake which I shouldn't have done. I made that mistake which I shouldn't have done. And so on. Then it does appear a list of the mistakes which we made during the interview. As a result, we were not accepted or welcomed by the company. Then we repent and regret. Alas, I had known these mistakes. I would have avoided all that, stayed clear out of all that, so that I would have been enjoying today that particular position in the company. So, my dear friends and fellows, it is really interesting. I think if at all we do understand this all nitty gritty, and we have chosen a topic like that today, are going to discuss about it. What are the common mistakes we make during the interview, and what is actually the correct response? There are 10 common mistakes during the interview. If somebody knows it early, prepares it a little bit, know the correct response, the probability of getting the job becomes higher. So let's begin. On the one hand, I'm going to put forward the common mistakes we make during the interview, and also what is the correct response of it. The both of these things are going to be talked about in our today's discussion. So my dear friends and fellows, let's begin. Let's begin it. What is the common mistake number one? It is that the common mistake number one is that talking negatively about the previous employers or previous colleagues. Yes, it is the very common mistake indeed that talking negatively about previous employers or the colleague. So that is one of the very common mistakes indeed. And the correct response is that focus on what you learned from the experience and how it helped you grow. So that is the correct response. That is, focus on what you learned from the experience and how it helped you grow. The second common mistake is lack of preparation and knowledge about the company you are seeking the job in. So that is the second common mistake. And the correct way is research the company, research its mission, research its values, research its product, research its show enthusiasm and show the interest in the company. So that is the correct response. Now the third common mistake is that inability to articulate your strengths and your weaknesses as well. Inability to articulate your strengths as well as your weaknesses, and that is another, the third type of mistake. The correct response is that prepare examples of your strength and prepare examples of your weaknesses as well. Frame weaknesses as opportunities for growth and for development. So that is the third common mistake. So my dear friends and fellows, frame weaknesses as opportunities for growth and development. Now, the fourth common mistake is that failing to ask questions during the interview. Failing to ask questions during the interview. The right and the correct response is that prepare a list of thoughtful questions. Prepare a list of thoughtful questions to ask the interviewer. This shows interest in the company and the position as well. Indeed, the correct response is prepare a list of thoughtful questions to ask the interviewer. This shows interest in the company and the position. The fifth common mistake is the poor body language and non-verbal communication. Poor body language and the poor body language and the poor non-verbal communication. So the correct response is maintain eye contact, establish eye contact several times during the course of interview, and that is give smile off and on several times during that particular interview, and use open and confident body language. Use open and confident body language as well. So the sixth common mistake is that is exaggerating or misrepresenting qualifications and experiences. Exaggerating or misrepresenting qualifications and experiences. The correct response is be honest and be accurate when discussing your qualifications and when discussing your experience. Now the seventh common mistake is that is showing lack of enthusiasm and interest in the position. Showing lack of enthusiasm and interest in the position. The correct response is show genuine interest and show genuine enthusiasm for the position and the company. The correct response is that show genuine interest and show genuine enthusiasm for the position and the company as well. Now the eighth common mistake is failing to provide specific examples of accomplishments and skills. The eighth common mistake is that failing to provide specific examples of accomplishments and the skills as well. The correct response is prepare specific examples of your accomplishments and your skills as well. Use the STAR method. What is the STAR method? The STAR method. STAR is an abbreviation of situation, of the task, of the action, and of the result as well to structure your response. Failing to provide specific examples of accomplishment skills. Now the ninth common mistake is that asking about salary and benefits too early during the interview. Asking about the salary and the benefits too early in the interview. The correct response is wait until the interviewer brings up the topic of salary and benefit. Wait until the interviewer brings up the topic of salary and benefit. Research the market, research the market rate for the position to be prepared for the conversation. The 10th common mistake is not sending a thank you note or email after the interview. Not sending a thank you note or email after the interview. The correct response is that send a thank you note or email within 24 hours of the interview and express gratitude for the opportunity and reiterate interest in the position. So these are the 10 very common mistakes we make during the interview. So I think that knowing that these are the common mistakes, and there is a high probability that I may indulge, I may, commit any of these. So it is very important indeed that we do prepare it a little bit in advance so that we could protect ourselves. We could preempt actually. We could preempt all those mistakes we were going to make during the interview. So that is something very useful, very beneficial for all the people who are seen seeking the job, all the people who are who are who are in search of the employment, or who may become in search of the employment in the future as well. So that is all from me today. Thank you very much.